champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he is the DB of the show. We are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. Here, man, we're bringing you back inside the locker room where we talk about topics in and around the game. MH, you ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Man, all right. So there is nothing like a fight night in Las Vegas. And I mean, even if you just talk about fight nights, right? Because there's been places that really build that up, right? I mean, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, there's been fights in the Coliseum back to Vegas because, we got to still give it to ourselves. We still the fight capital, right? And then Allegiant, man. So Allegiant has stepped into the arena, pun intended, but they stepped into the arena hosting the first kind of like major bout, right? In the world's top stadium. It's been holding a couple of records. And so just this past weekend, as we know, it's, Hispanic Heritage Month. And right after that, we go into Mexican independence. And as long as I've known, there's always, it just seems like, I'm not going to say always, but it just seems like there's always been a fight on Mexican independence. And this past weekend in Allegiant was no different, man. So with that being said, man, just MH, what was your thoughts about this matchup before we get into the gritty details? What did you think about the matchup itself?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm Max Kellerman or anybody like that when it comes to covering
hold on,
boxing.
Should we put that on later? Because Max is funny, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should have stayed in that lane. He seems pretty good in that lane. And some other lanes, Iguodala, and that might not have been his best work. But regardless, like I wouldn't pretend to be him or anything like that. But been a fan of Bud Crawford. Being from Omaha, Nebraska, it just seems like that's just kind of like normal type of upbringing and family. He's got a lot of family. Just kind of reminds me of us type, and he's been dominant for a long time. And so as a fan and respect of him and his craft, I was very interested in that, and going up a few weight classes to fight Canelo, who is a big Mexican fighter and has carried the torch from De La Hoya and those as it came. I thought it was an interesting matchup, and a matchup that I was looking forward to as just kind of a novice and respectful of the sport and the craft and everything. And then with that being in Allegiant Stadium and in Vegas, Netflix, there was a lot of layers to it, so it became something that intrigued me.
Yeah, well, you hit all the points, so we're gonna go back and touch on some of each of the points that you hit. But no, it was a really big marquee, and I think one of the things I want to pick out first is Canelo not only carried it for the culture. I think he kind of carried boxing for a while, right? Like, I don't think there was really many big boxing that you wanted to see, because from the heavyweight thing, we thought Deontay Wilder was going to give you something, and then the Gypsy King put Tyson Fury, the other Tyson, put a kibosh to that. So no, I think you're right. I think he's been carrying boxing, like I said, and in respects as well. I'm a novice as well, so I don't get deep into all the cards. I mean, my boxing knowledge deals with what I used to watch growing up. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and then
Knockout Kings.
Knockout Kings, right?
Yeah.
So no, I'm with you on that. Definitely Canelo has definitely carried the torch
for a while. And I think I've only been to a couple of fight nights, so to speak, or boxing events in my life, and both of them or with Canelo, right? So
there you go, right?
Yeah.
And it's like if you're going, because I believe I've gone to a Canelo fight as well. So unfortunately, I was not in the building this time, but I had a chance to watch it at home. But I want to defer to you, man. Just like, what was it like? I mean, I'll start with a number because I think you said this in the pre-show. This broke records, right? So in Allegiant Stadium, this was the highest attendance ever at Allegiant Stadium. And we know that one young lady that's dating or engaged to this guy in Kansas City, she held the record before by the single attendance. But now, fight night, that came up was the 70,482 people. And you were one of those in attendance, man. So just kind of tell us about how it felt, kind of walking in the building and like compared to like Canelo, you've gone once and now you're going again.
Yeah, no, it was it definitely felt like 70,000 plus. It took a while to get some popcorn. I can't go to anything without popcorn. So with the Lions being that aggressive for popcorn, it felt that way. But interesting. It's always really cool when you get to do, and thank God, where you get to see different sporting events in my life, and every sporting event or every following has its own culture, for lack of kind of better terms. And so I think this was the first time I've really seen, I guess, fight night culture, so to speak, where it comes to just the fashion of like people dressed to the nines. I don't know if it was prom. I don't know if it was a cookout. I don't know if it was the Met Gala. It was a combination of
quinceañera, all of that.
Awards, quinceañera, it was a combination.
BET Awards, all of it.
It was all. And there were some different setups that Allegiant Stadium had that I was like, they want to play dominoes in the middle of this? Like, it was like a very vibe to it. That was really interesting that I haven't, really been a part of.
Right.
But, everybody, there's a lot of naps being taken before it got to the main card because it did start, a little later than I thought so. But a lot of energy. It was right up there with, I guess, WrestleMania or anything like that I've had a pleasure to witness. So really cool, really, really good vibes. And something about boxing, I think we talked about this before, that everybody turns into an expert, I guess, something about fighting like that.
We did do a show about that, and we talked like everybody's card is like, you got
the reach, you can't get in. Like, I'm like, okay.
And they start telling you to break down. Well, no, see, he came up 3 weight classes, so there's no way he's pound for pound. He's not going to be able to go. So everybody becomes an expert.
Everybody, Freddie Roach, all of a sudden, golly.
A
lot of that, but it was really cool to be to see and be a part of, and it was dope. It was dope.
That's good stuff, man. A lot of Modelo's probably going on, being drank in the stadium. Just kind of like a lot flow, and I think along with that pageantry, right? One of the other things that when we were kind of doing the opening, talking about what fight night means, is fight night brings them out, right? And then you're on the celebrity watch, right? So I don't know like how many more that they missed while you were up there, right? But like even on TV, it's like, man, and this is just because I only saw the co-main event and the main event. And so just between that, all the stars that they were showing, I can just only imagine what they were showing, like, as a build-up, as people were walking in. But it brought them out, man. I mean, who did you see? Because I saw a couple people. Do you know? Was there some people that you saw?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. I think there's like tiers of celebrity. I think people who are celebrities and are around that crowd kind of understand that a little bit, and you kind of really get a vibe. I kind of understand why Stephen A. Smith is as I don't know what the word is. I don't want to call him cocky, confident, or whatever he is. I can see why he's that way.
Right.
Because people take to him that either you like him or hate him, whatever the case is, you still take to, Stephen A. Smith, seeing Magic Johnson, seeing Michael J. Fox, seeing Macaulay Culkin, like, you know what I mean? Like just random,
let's go.
Random folks like that is, kind of interested in how they Gucci Mane, like how they carry themselves, who they're with.
entourage of the who's there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Lev Bell. He was standing in line with me. So I was like, oh.
Hey, you waiting for this popcorn too?
Yeah. Go get the last one.
So who that said they have, of course, Tyson. Recognized Tyson was in the building. A couple other fights. I'm trying to think who else that they shown. Along with that, Dave Chappelle, just a lot of people. So it was just good to see that, the people were still coming out and the Vegas can still bring that, like, hey, it's fight night. And I think it's also great because we're at the period where a lot of people are asking, like, how's Vegas doing, right? Like, I hear it's going slow and I hear, the economy's bad. And it's just like, nah, I mean, it's affecting just like everyone else, right? Like, I don't think, we're not in dire straits, and it was just good to kind of see that and to know, like, with that fight, it was the fight. Then the Raiders played on Monday Night Football game, and Chris Breezy's coming in a couple days. So it's just like, it's just things kind of going on, as well as our aces are in the playoffs. So it's just like, no, we were loading, you know what I mean? So it was really good to see that just in the midst of like that narrative, like Vegas is dying or, what's going on and, how travel. So I was really excited to see that and bring the different people out.
Yeah.
The entrance, we posted on our social, Bud Crawford coming, because, it's interesting to hear what different people come out to.
Sure.
And Bud Crawford came out to some Latin music, right? And he had the whole guitar, guitar case he's carrying, which is kind of like Desperado, the movie Desperado, when he's carrying the guitar, but it's got a gun in it. Like, so that was his weapon. And so no, it was just like some great stuff to how they all, even both their shorts, had tribute to, the Latina culture with the red, yellow, and green in there. So that was dope because it, in spirit of the holiday. And it's like I said in the opening, it seems like there's always been, a fight on that night and that weekend. So just kudos to them, like, putting on such an event. And it goes to TKO, right? Like, this was right their signature or their main bout that they promoted. So for those of you who don't know, shout out to King Gene, who's on our show regularly, especially the live show. That's part of the company where WWE and UFC merged, and TKO's what they kind of formed, and it's really around all combat sports. So they're doing a great job, and it was just an interesting merger or mix of them using Netflix for it, because usually with fights you always hear, especially when we're talking Floyd, what was he doing at the pay-per-view? What were the pay-per-view numbers, right? Even Mike Tyson back in the days where you paid for a fight on HBO and the fight was 38 seconds.
Yeah, I always remember the Martins that made my TV for that.
The Hashitashi 3000 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
But no, shout out to King G, man. They did they did what, like 47 million on the gate. So another like number busting that they were doing. So just great night and energy. The funniest thing though, so it was on Netflix, but I still watched the bootleg. So I don't know. don't hold that against me.
I guess if I say culture, is that what it is?
Old habits don't are slow to die, I guess. So. But no, like when it said, I knew it was on Netflix, but just like, I mean, we referenced HBO or Showtime Boxing, whatever. It was like you had that, but you still had to pay for the subscription to see that premiere or primetime event. So it was interesting to see it on Netflix. And speaking of, then they did show one of the Paul brothers. I can't tell them. They all look alike.
Logan, I think it was.
I think it was Logan was at the fight, which they announced him or they put a tag that he was a WWE person. So. I mean, boxing, WWE, whatever gets you paid. Like I said, all in all, really, really good atmosphere. But let's get into like the fight, right? What were your thoughts about the fight?
I thought it was a dominant performance, at least from my, point of view.
Man, I'm gonna go to Harlem Nights, man. He whooped your ass.
Yeah,
we didn't take him off. He still be whooping your ass.
It was a dominant performance.
It was definitely dominant.
It was funny because again, I'm not going to say I know the sweet sciences of the game or anything like that, but you can see frustration on athletes, and you could you can see frustration, and Canelo was frustrated. I would say probably from the third or fourth round, like on, whereas he couldn't really. He was trying to walk him down in the corners, and he couldn't really walk him down to the corners. And he would swing hard, and Bud would make a miss, and then hit him in his face. Like, you know how Floyd was just cool about, kind of, he hit you 1 or 2, but he wasn't really like powering him. Felt like Crawford was making a miss and hitting him back in his face, and it was frustrating him. And then I don't. Again, I thought the weight class would have some, effect. Just how Canelo normally walks around as a grown man individual, and what Crawford walks around despite whatever they weighed in at.
Right.
You thought that maybe that would wear down a little bit Crawford a little bit, but no. And maybe there was a reach difference there, because I don't feel like Canelo could ever really get close to him without getting jabbed in his face. And then Mexican fighter bodies, and he didn't really ever get into his body like that the whole time. So from my perspective, dominant effort. And I was like, man, I don't want it to go to the card, and it's Mexican Independence Day, and not that this would happen, but there's just weird things happen when you go to decisions. So I was like,
They always say in any of those combat sports, don't let the judges determine. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go out there and make sure you win it. And he definitely did that. And it was funny. So they talk about, like, during the fight, and I mean, it's technicality, however you want to look at it, but they kept talking. He went up 2 weight classes to fight this. But people forget that he really fought in a lower weight class before he moved up. So it's like, in reality, he moved up 3 weight classes, not just for this fight, but just that alone. And then to be as dominant as he was, and like you said, you can see the frustration. And the meme that I love is like the replay when he hits the dude, and he looks back, he's like, what? He's like, what was that? That replay, that was just like,
hilarious.
Kind of like the story of the fight, for him just kind of get in there. It's great. They respected each other.
Yeah, I was going to say that. The mutual respect there.
And I love that. Like, no, we're going to go in. We're going to battle. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I'm coming in here to take your head and to show you that I'm better. But, like, the mutual respect, because I think, like, Canelo had, like, a low blow that happened, or, like, the headbutt. The headbutt. Now, I was worried about the headbutt, because I think, like, anytime you do that, sometimes that can rattle you or take you out of your game or whatever. But no, he was just like, yo, like, my bad, whatever. But then they got back to it. So it was awesome to see that, man, the mutual respect for each other. And then, it ultimately came down, like you said, the sweet science, man. He put on a clinic. He definitely taught the boys something.
He surely did. But I agree. You could really see from both camps, essentially, just the mutual respect for each other as fighters and as athletes. That's always cool. And they didn't change the way they competed, in my opinion. I kind of hate going to, like, Twitter or social or anything like that after fights, because everybody,
he was running,
money involved and all that. He was running and all that. I kind of hate that from just watching. I just felt like it was good, clean competition, and just somebody had the better hand. So
that's it.
It is what it is.
So, so you had to fight Max. He was nervous at the presser, at the post. I don't know.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, like on TV you could tell, right? Because they're zooming, and I don't know. If he does have a condition, I apologize. People must. He has cerebral palsy, and I didn't know it. Pause. But he was really, like, looking for that moment, because he's very passionate about boxing. Sure. And he was really looking to get that moment to have one of them say something that was, like, iconic. And I do think there was some iconic parts to this, which I'm going to ask you. But one of the things he said was, do you think there will be a rematch, or do you want a rematch? And I don't know. It was like he was asking if Canelo was going to retire after this, right? Because he was really asking, like, what else do you have to prove?
Canelo or Crawford, are both of them.
Yeah, it's kind of both of them, right? Because it's like, what else do you have to prove, right? Like, you went up on the Crawford side, you went up to 2 to 3 weight classes, and you fought a giant. And then Canelo like, hey, I risk it all, because a lot of things that people say about Floyd or maybe some other fighters, is that, or I guess the knock on boxing as whole is people not fighting in their prime or taking those risks. And he's like, Canelo, you took the risk, you put it out there, and now you're 42 and 2 or 3 or whatever. So he's like, what's next? And it just looks like they're both like, hey, we just got done. Give me a minute, and we're gonna regroup. But it looks like he was really looking to get that. Do you see a rematch?
I don't. To maybe your point or Max's point, I think it would be good for the sport, but I think both of them are. I don't know. I mean, they say that and they come back and they'll do their thing, but I just think both of them are onto different parts now. So,
absolutely. And then lastly, so we crowned him the greatest ever, because that was something that Max was attempting to put, like, you're the GOAT in this era. He kept saying this era, which I don't think anyone should or can question that. But does this limit his status? But because it's like, what else
I
does he
think
have
so.
to prove?
I mean, he was already. Yeah, I mean, he was already one of them anyway, right?
He's a bad man.
Really talk about the sport without, mentioning Bud Crawford. So I don't think this made him or anything, but just to your point and Max's point, I guess this solidifies, as the one from this era, which is cool. Like I said, which is cool. He seems like a good vibe type of dude. So I'm all about it.
Yeah. So, like I said, respect on all sides. That was, like they say, that the mega match, right? Like, they put together, a good match. It was a good fight, like something that you enjoyed watching, because you knew at the even though Bud was kind of leading and controlling a lot of the fight, you knew Canelo has the power to drop that at any time. Yeah. And even Bud attempted to go for the knockout. You saw in the 8th and 9th round, he was like, oh, I'm tagging him to see if I can catch him. But it is one of those, what's next? What would even make sense for either one of them, right? So it's going to be interesting. But and the fact that he's from Nebraska was really dope. I like that support. I think the Nebraska football team all had shirts supporting him before the game on Saturday, wherever they played. So it's just going to be interesting to see what he does next, or where he wants to go his career, as well as Canelo as well.
It is, and those are two titans in the sport. People that you talk about boxing, you're going to mention their names, and especially this era. So it's always cool to see them compete, and like you said, man, we'll see what's next for them.
There it is, man. Well, we got through it. It was a great event on so many levels. So it's going to be interesting to see what TKO and boxing and they come up with, just to kind of like continue the sport. And we'll go from there, man. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always there's I don't know how many sporting events this has been on Netflix Live. I would say a handful, but I don't know. Just the concept of live sport on Netflix, to me is still like just crazy. Being blessed enough to be able to access Netflix in different countries, and see how that's just a standard part of like your hotel stay anyway. Like it's something that works, right? And then just to say, like, I think I remember I think the first one was like a tennis match here in Vegas that was on Netflix, and being able just to sit. I think at the time I was in Mexico and like watch a sporting event and knowing that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just a weird concept to like, man, that is crazy that there's a live sporting event.
Well, because wasn't that Tyson fight that he fought Jake Paul on Netflix?
That was on Netflix too.
Yeah, they fired whoever was running that because everybody was mad watching it. They kept spinning. Yeah.
So they think about that though, man. That's like a lot of people.
Fired that guy.
Yeah.
So they got the bandwidth up and all the other things they needed to make sure the stream was good.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. But no, the future of Netflix sports, it really looks, it's a definite different offering, like you said, and expands, anywhere, right? Because like I remember being in Ireland and I turned on my Netflix account because you can access from anywhere.
You can access that. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to think about.
Good stuff, man. Well, hey, hope you guys enjoyed the fight, man. It was a really, really good fight. Just great events here, kind of put on here in the city. So definitely enjoyed that. And then please comment, let us know who you think what you think should be the next step for it. Would you like to see the rematch, or what contenders that we don't know about should be next in the ring? Other than that, man, anything else from you, MH?
That's it, brother.
All right, man. So like we always say, man, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please comment, give us your suggestions, and then always share the show. We drop a new show every Thursday. And like we always say, please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.